This is a tutorial on how to make this sparkly cheer bow out of 2 craft sheets from Hobby Lobby. To make the sparkle bows, you're going to need to pick up some of this sparkle craft cloth. You can find it in the scrapbooking crafty section of Hobby Lobby. As you can see, it's only $1.47 each, and it says hand wash only, so it is washable. And the back, it's not paper, it's actually a cloth, and it moves like a cloth and it doesn't rip. So you'll need to pick up 2 of those. If you want to do a 2-tone bow, then you'll need 2 different colors. If you want to do a bow that's all one color, then you'll need to get 2 of the same color. You'll also need to get duct tape. I use white duct tape because the back is light colored, so the white's not going to show up as bad. A zip tie. I like to get the really small zip ties. A ruler. A hair rubber band. An X-Acto knife, or you could use scissors. A glue gun, and you're probably going to want a cutting mat if you're going to use an X-Acto knife. Now, the most popular size of bow right now is 3 inches, although you could do a skinnier bow if you like. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut 2 3-inch strips from each piece of cloth. So you're going to measure 3 inches and mark it, and then you're going to measure 3 inches over here and mark it. Okay, and then you can use scissors or an X-Acto knife to cut. If you're going to use scissors, you're going to want to actually draw a line and then cut on the line. But I'm going to use an X-Acto knife and a ruler because it makes a straighter cut. So line up your ruler and then make sure you press really hard to cut all the way through. Okay, and then you're going to do that 2 times with each sheet. So when you're done, you should have 4 3-inch strips, and then you have some left over. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to cut one of the strips that's going to form the loops of the bow. So if you're doing a 2-tone bow, you're going to want to take one of each color, and you're going to want to cut them a little bit shorter. I think 8 inches is good for a loop for a bow, but you can make it smaller or larger. If you make it longer than 8 inches, then the loop part of the bow is going to be wider. And if you make it smaller than 8 inches, then the loop part of the bow is going to be narrower. So I'm just going to make them 8 inches. So measure out 8 inches in 2 spots. You can do end to end or whatever. And then you can use your X-Acto knife or your scissors to cut the piece off. And you want to get it as even as possible. This doesn't make as big of a difference if it's not 100% straight or if the bow is not exactly 8 inches. You want to get it as close as possible in size. But once the bow is all put together, you're not going to notice little bits of an inch one way or another. Okay, so now you've got 2 shorter pieces and 2 longer pieces. So now you're going to take your tape and you're going to actually tape the pieces together. Now the bow is going to be held together where you tape it, so you're not really going to see it. I don't use a really big piece of tape because you don't want it to show too much. So go ahead and take the 2 colors that are the same stick them end to end. And you're going to want to tape them together, and you might need 2 pieces of tape in order to do that. Okay, and then do that with both pieces. Now if you're making this with straight ribbon, you would just cut 2 pieces of sparkle ribbon, but I like to use this because it's really pretty. It's like a nice sparkle. Because of the fabric on the back, it's already stiff, so it really makes a good bow. Okay, so you should have the black taped together and then the gold taped together, or whatever pieces that you're going to use. Now you're going to go ahead and tape these together. Okay, so if you're doing the two-tone, you're going to tape it, and you make sure that the 2 short pieces is what's taped together. You don't want to do short and then long. Okay, you want to do short and then short. So see how the 2 pieces are short, short and short taped together. And again, the part where it's taped is going to be hidden where we scrunch the bow together, so you're not going to see it. Or if you do see it, you're going to see very little of it. And that's why I use the white, so that you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so now as you can see, we've got long, short, short, and then long. Okay? Now we're going to put the bow together. Go ahead and lay the sparkle side down and put the 2 shorts where it's taped together in the middle. And you're going to fold one side down, and you're going to kind of put the 2 parts that are taped together, and you're going to fold the other one down over it, and make sure you put the parts that are taped together. See how that's where the tape is? You're going to make sure they're all layered together like this. Okay? Now we're going to scrunch it. I usually put my thumb in the middle and scrunch it like this till it looks like a bow, like that. Alright, so once you have the bow pinched in the middle, and like I said before, the seams and everything, they're not going to show. So just make sure the seams are in the middle, pinch it down, and then you're going to take your twisty tie and you're going to bring it around, and you're going to take your rubber band and stick that in the twisty tie, and then go ahead and tighten it. I'm sorry, I'm saying twisty tie, I meant zip tie. You're going to zip your zip tie shut. Okay, so the zip tie will look like this, and then your rubber band will be secured under the zip tie in the back. And then go ahead and take a scissors or a wire cutters and snip off the end of the zip tie. Alright, so your bow should look like this. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make a centerpiece that goes over and it'll hide the zip tie. So I like to do the opposite, so if I have the gold going across, I'm going to use the black. And I cut it usually about 1/2 inch. So you're going to measure 1/2 inch. And then go ahead, use your scissors or your X-Acto knife and slice off that 1/2 inch. And it doesn't have to be exact, it can be a little thicker or thinner, you know, depending on how thick you want the middle piece to be. So you'll have a piece about this size, and now you're going to get your glue gun. Okay? And you're just going to use this piece, you're going to wrap it around like this. And then you're just going to glue it in the back. And you can actually also add a piece of glue in the front to secure it. And then you're going to hide your zip tie with the piece. Sorry, that's my little one. Alright, so this is what your bow is going to look like now. And then the last step is just a matter of snipping these long pieces to whatever length that you want. And I usually use a scissors for that. So you're going to go ahead and decide how long you want these to be. I usually just eyeball it. Remember, you can always cut off more, but you can't cut off less. So I usually just eyeball it and then trim it so it's even. Okay, and then if you want to get those ends, fold it in half, and then the sides that this is where it's folded, the side where it's got the crease, you're going to cut a triangle out. Okay, and that's going to go ahead and give you that kind of an end. Okay, and you're done. There's your sparkle bow with the rubber band in the back.